Hey there, thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to tell you about my experience investing as a beginner. I'm going to tell you how I educated myself about investments without any family involvement or background or family financial history at all. This is all stuff that I've taught myself and had to learn myself on investing. And I'm going to tell you how making one simple change led me to triple my returns in the market last year. And how this change that I made could potentially cut my timeline to financial independence in half. So if you're interested in hearing more about investing for beginners, then just keep watching. Before we get started, I ask that you please like this video, click that little thumbs up button, please. It is a huge help to me with the YouTube algorithm, and it helps me keep making this content and sharing with you. Okay, so investing for beginners, and just to kind of give you a heads up on the nature of this video, I'm going to share with you my story, what I changed, and now how it looks today. Just to kind of give you some history and background on me, I found myself in the middle of a huge financial hole that I got into just by not paying attention to my finances. I certainly wasn't investing at that point. I was just going the other way and digging myself further and further into debt till eventually my consumer debt equaled about 17 times my annual income, which was terrifying. I felt hopeless, stressed, disappointed, and like I'd let down everyone in my life, including myself. I just wandered into that situation by not paying attention. What woke me up was being scared by the minimum payment due on that debt. And it was a February and it was cold outside, and I decided that that was going to be my rock bottom moment, that I was never going back there, that I was going to do everything I could to send myself in a different direction, and that I was willing to change the way that I was living in order to be in a better financial situation. I made huge financial changes with my life. I woke up, I decided to start paying attention, and I dug myself out of $17,000 in consumer loan debt. I dug myself out of this huge financial hole, and now I am on a journey to financial independence. These are the 5 components of my continuing journey to financial independence, and I like to review them to remind myself of what's really important. Number 1, getting organized. Number 2, eliminating debt and continuing to stay out of debt. Number 3, saving. Number 4, earning. And number 5, investing. So I would say of those 5 components, the 2 that I am least good at right now are earning more and investing. And those are the 2 areas where I'm aiming to grow my knowledge and to learn more about those areas so that I can become better in them. When it comes to investing, I am coming from a background of complete beginning. I didn't grow up in a family that discussed money. I didn't come from a family that had money. Investments weren't really a topic of conversation. I never thought that I would have money because I was going into an arts-related field, and I never thought that I would be making a significant enough income to A, be able to invest, or B, be able to do anything with. So I just never paid attention to investments or investing. It all sounded very theoretical to me, and I just never thought I would need to know about it because I never thought it would apply to me. So I realized that I came from a very cynical and apathetic background. I didn't know about investing because I never thought that I'd have the opportunity or the desire or the need to do anything with it. The biggest change for me was deciding to take control of the assets that I do have and deciding that I wanted to grow them and to learn everything I could about investing. I'm also in my 30s right now. Most recently, a tiny part of me thought that I was too late to the party, that it was too late to start any hardcore investing because I'd already missed my investment window. During my 20s, I did some exploration. I had a few corporate jobs and I managed to save a little bit from those jobs, but I cashed them out in order to go teach overseas and have some life experience in my 20s. And while I am so thankful for that experience, I appreciate every single moment that I had during that time, it also left me feeling a little bit behind. So I was coming from a place of feeling like I didn't know enough and also feeling like I was already behind for my age. So here's what I did. It was a complete change in my mindset in realizing that, again, I could take control and take charge and make changes to what I can control right now. That's the investments that I currently have. To be completely upfront, my main investment is a company-sponsored 401k. That's it. I had been contributing increasing amounts to that 401k. However, I hadn't been taking an active role in watching to see what funds my contributions were invested in. So on the advice of a very good friend, I actually took the steps to log into my dashboard and to do some research. I found out that all of my contributions were being invested in a default target date fund. So a target date fund is set up with your target retirement age, in this case it was 65, in mind. So the investment strategy is typically very conservative because the overall strategy is just to set it and forget it. This is for someone that doesn't really want to monitor their funds from year to year and just wants to have everything going into one steady investment stream. However, I also discovered that the target date fund that all my contributions were going into was only providing an average year-over-year return of about 3%. Just to put that in context, the average market return is about 7% year over year. So my fund was underperforming the market by about 4%, meaning that I was leaving 4% on the table. I could have been growing by 4% and I was just not. So I did some research on the funds that were available within my brokerage account. There were about 50 of them. So I sat there and I calculated. I looked for the fund that had the best return over the most recent 10 years. So a fund that had a long track record of good returns in the most recent 10 years. And I ended up switching all of my investments to a simple S&P 500 index fund. That fund had an average return year over year of about 12%. So that's an increase from where I was of 9% total. So that simple change ended up tripling my market returns from 2020 to 2021. Now, I understand that last year was an exceptional year. We only see a year like that once every 10 years or so. But going from a return of 3% to a return of 27% in an index fund is pretty decent, and I will take that. Now, I know that there are some funds that have done 30 or 40% from 2020 to 2021, and I know that there's some stocks that have done up to 400% return in the past year. But for me and my investment strategy, which is very much hands-off, I am very satisfied with these returns. Now, here's the part that gets kind of exciting for me on my journey to financial independence. Compound interest is a huge part of investing, and it's a huge part of the financial independence retire early strategy. So learning compound interest and being able to calculate out how much it will take to become financially independent can be really exciting once you learn how it works. So I decided to plug these numbers into the spreadsheets, and I will share my screen now so you can see what I'm looking at. This is my financial independence retire early calculator sheet, which is available for purchase in my Etsy shop. I will leave the link down below, and this is the part that is exciting. So if I take the expected rate of return that I saw previously, which was 3%, and I plug that into my financial independence calculator, you can see that it takes 23, almost 24 years before I get into the green, which means that I'm hitting my minimum viable financial independence number. 24 years to get into the green. It's a long time. But if I pop over to the next tab, which is where I plugged in an expected rate of return of 15%, which is about 10% lower than my fund return this year, you'll see that it only takes 12 years to get into the green, 13 years at most, which is shortening my time to financial independence by almost half. That is super exciting. This definitely helped me realize that the waves of the market can be a good thing if I'm willing to wait them out and be disciplined in my overall strategy and approach. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been useful in inspiring you to invest as a beginner or to deepen your knowledge as a seasoned investor. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback and your comments. If you have any tips or strategies, or if you have any questions, I'd love to address them in an upcoming video. Please leave your suggestions or comments down below. It's a huge help to me as well. I appreciate you so much, and I thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you'll keep watching. Bye!